everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Craft Time for VBS. So by now you know our story for the week is the reading from Matthew where Jesus heals the Canaanite woman's daughter. And so with that, one of the big things we're learning is that Jesus is for everyone, that Jesus welcomes everyone. So for our craft today, what we're doing is we're making wreaths. So I know wreaths you see normally around Christmas time, but more and more we're seeing wreaths be used throughout the year. So there are many different ways you can use wreaths. But the point of having a wreath is you put it on your door and it's a way to help welcome people in. So what we're going to do, what you need for sure is a paper plate, a pair of scissors, and some sort of way to help decorate your wreath. So for instance, what we're going to be doing today, there are two different options that I did, but there are many more than that. So what I did with one is I took paper pieces, just you can use construction paper or colored paper, whatever else you need. Just made these little rectangles out of them. And with this, you'll need, I used a glue stick, but whatever form of like adhesive glue, whatever you have, I think should work. The other method we'll be doing is I used coffee filters and watercolor paint for this one. I used a different kind of glue stick for this one, but again, any adhesive should work fine. So that's what we'll be doing. So we'll start with this wreath. So this one you'll see I used all different kind of shades of green. And I picked green on purpose. So right now, if you're aware of our liturgical season or the season of the church that we're in the season after Pentecost or ordinary time. I don't like saying ordinary time because it's a good chunk of time we're in church and very rarely is anything in the church very ordinary. But with that, the colors we'll see a lot during this season is green. You'll see pastor, he'll have a green stole. There's green hangings up in our sanctuary. It's a lot of different places. So green we like because it helps remind us of growth and nature and creation. So one of the first things you'll need to do though is you'll need to take your paper plate and you'll need to cut out this middle part. So luckily, at least on my paper plate, I have a little line right here, and you'll just cut along there. If you don't have a nice little line like I do, one trick I know you can do is like if you take your peanut butter jar, take the lid and outline it right in the middle, then you have a nice little circle to go with. So you can make the inside circle that you cut out, this part, as big or small as you want, but since I already have that line kind of already there waiting for me, that's just what we're going to go with. So we cut it out and keep going around until we get it out. So there, we got, so this is what you'll start off with. So, and first, I have most of this one done, but as you'll see, we still need to finish it up. So you guys can do this along with me. So what we're going to do is I have a bunch of these little strips of paper. So what we're going to do is just put a little bit of glue on there. And then, so I like to make sure it goes right to the edge of my plate and kind of overlaps the piece in front of it. So then that way none of the actual paper plate is showing. But then again, if you want the paper plate to show, go for it. And you don't have to do the rectangle shapes either. For me, that was just what was easiest to cut. So again, we're doing this with a different color. You can do squares, you can do circles, you can make them look like leaves if you want. The world is your oyster. So again, just one right there. And I think we have room for one more. So we're gonna find which color we want. I think we want this color to be our last one. So we'll do that. We'll put our glue on. And then we'll put our last piece in. And ta-da! There we go. There's wreath number one. So this Again, yeah, you can use any different shapes you want. I used about 5 different shades of green. If you have pattern paper, that works too. Whatever your heart desires. Another cool idea for just gluing things straight on, if you have a really cool backyard with all sorts of different things like pine cones or leaves or whatever else, if your parents let you, it could be really cool just to tape those around your wreath too. So our next one that I worked on was a little bit more complicated. So this is coffee filters I painted. So what I did is I have my watercolor set. So I just painted the whole thing. And then I actually, because I wanted to make sure they were really dry before I used them, I used a blow dryer to get them really nice and flat and dry. So you can do that too if you're in a hurry. Otherwise, if you just set them out to dry, they should be just fine. So what we will need to do to make it look like a flower is we're going to need to cut it about halfway. So the best way to do that is I fold it in half, and then what I'll do is I will cut a line all the way up to that half. Okay, so see, so now it's kind of like a Pac-Man. Then, once I have that, I'll start spiraling it. So we'll kind of do, so this too, it doesn't need to be perfect, because I know a lot of times with the coffee filter, it'll kind of fold weird, but that's totally okay. The more it folds and the more it crinkles, I think the better it looks. So we've got that. So then too, what you can do, if you really want to, you can tape it on that side, but I know with my glue, it's been holding up just as is. So then we go back to my wreath, and if you'll see too, I used my same watercolor and I painted this because I know I wasn't going to be able to cover it all with flowers. If you have time to get all the flowers on there, go for it. But I just knew with the size of my flowers and things like that, I needed to make sure I wanted that color underneath. But if you don't want to paint it, you don't have to do that either. So we're going to take my glue stick here, and we're going to go here. I'm going to put a little bit of the glue right in between those two flowers. You can kind of see it a little bit. Trust me, it's there. I'm not going to touch it because I'll get glue on my hands, and I don't want to do that. So then take my flower, and then what I did, so it comes to a point at the end. What I like to do is fold it, so then I have a flat little surface for it to attach to. I put it right on there, and then I like to go right in the middle of my flower and push down there so it attaches that way. And there's my other wreath. So other ideas you can do is if you want to start off with a paper plate, you can use washi tape. That's one of my favorite things to use. Like I said, I used paint on that. If you just want to use paint or markers or crayons or colored pencils, you can do that too. What are some other things? Oh, I've seen them with yarn. So you can start and you can either wrap it around the outside. So like, where did my example wreath go? So when you start off with this, you can wrap the yarn around this part. Or I've seen it too where if you want to hole punch some holes through there and kind of make a cool little weaving pattern, that's an idea too. You can go all sorts of different directions with this, and you can make them any colors you want. But like I said, I went with green because it's our liturgical color, our liturgical season for this year. It's the season after Pentecost, so it's green. So that's what I went with. So other than that, we'll see you next week. If you get your wreath completed, send me pictures, put it on Facebook. I'm excited to see what you guys do. See you later.